So, we're reading from Kabbalah for the Student. The article is called Matan Tora, page 243, item 5. 242, item 5. And you can ask questions live through Cap TV. Selected questions will be aired. Till now we've learned that the law in nature nature's law is that the creatures have to be like nature, meaning they have to be in balance. They have to be balanced with nature. They have to be in unification, in unity, in bestowal, despite that to begin with they're built the other way around, and it's done so on purpose, so that they will attain the power of unity and the power of love themselves. And then this attainment will serve them as a new kind of existence, for them to be like that upper force that has created them, and not for them to be as creatures which are managed and operated by this upper force, having no place, nor understanding, nor feeling in this entire thing, but to have the same feeling and sensation and perception and eternity and the eternal life as the Creator. And in order to do this, the creature was created opposite to the Creator. It did not happen immediately, but through the different actions that we've performed in the wisdom of Kabbalah, the will to receive after it has developed. It wanted to reach a state as the Creator. It reached the same state as the Creator, broke, because inside the creature there was this certain discernment revealed, a certain difference between the creature and the Creator. And it was done on purpose, that the Creator, he tripped. He failed the creature in order for the creature to see that he is not the Creator, that this point, the difference between him and the Creator, is the very point with the help of which later on the creature becomes as the Creator. The point of separation, the point of shame, the point of restriction. And this is why what the creature has to achieve in this process, after he awakens from the breaking through the upper light by the Creator, he has to attain the power of unity and the bonding. And the creature can attain this power of bonding gradually, because he does it by himself, and because he has to attain it, understand it, find it, learn about himself, how to do it, so that any following degree will come as a result of the birth of the previous degree, which begets it. And then the creature as if begets himself, as if creates himself. And by this he comes to know the matter of creation, the process, the laws, they all become his. This is why, not like in our world, that we come and we use what we have, and then we don't know how do we do this. But to begin with, I want, and then I take, and I use. So also the desire, it's inside me, and also the fulfillment for the desire. I don't know how, but I'm fulfilled. In spirituality, that's not how it is. In spirituality, if I eat or drink, I have to know what is the desire to drink, and what is the desire to eat, and what is drink, and what is food, and to which extent are they in me, and how do they disintegrate, and how do I accept them, and what do they do in me, down to the last detail, the last atom which is a part of this entire process. Without this, there can't be any work done. Of course, there is a gradual advancement to this. I receive from the upper, and gradually by the upper, I attain what's happening to me. This is called Ibur, Yanika, and Mochin. All in all, these are 3 stages that we undergo with respect to this. I know that part the upper takes upon itself, and I cancel myself before the upper. This is my form of work. And when I cancel myself, I know that I'm taking only a part of it, and later on a bit more and a bit more. But eventually I understand and attain and feel the whole of creation, and there's nothing that I can simply use without seemingly creating it, finding and creating it. So the advancement is gradual. The correction of the creation, on the back of which we become like the Creator, it comes to us from the correction of the breaking. The correction of the breaking is that the souls have to connect between themselves back into one soul as before. By this connection, we attain everything, the entire Kli, and the light, and the process, and the depth, and the purpose of creation, the entire plan. And this is why we're advancing from its beginning to the end of this process gradually. First of all, pure souls that come to their connection, later on coarser and coarser, and so on, gradually. That in this general Kli we have the degrees of the Yud, Shosh, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. Correspondingly comes the vessels from light to heavy to correction to fulfillment, where each time the previous degree helps the following degrees to connect and advance. And so he explains to us that when the breaking was revealed for the very first time, which is called, this degree is called Babylon. We're not talking about history nor geography, but we're talking about that which occurs within the souls. The breaking was revealed in a state called the Tower of Babel. This is the name of the revelation of the broken Kli. So as a result of this revelation, it was still small. Only few souls will reveal from the generality of the broken souls, which could receive, accept, take upon themselves the method of correction. And corresponding to the name, they're called Yashar Kel, directly to the Creator, Israel. And this is how the process of correction started, from souls to other and more souls, gradually expanding, extending their quantity and quality, till all the souls on the degrees of Shosh, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Daled are all in all included in that correction, that very same process. Please, item 5. We must first understand why the Torah was given specifically to the Israeli nation and not to all the peoples of the world equally. Torah, it means, Torah is called a method through which the soul can cleave on to other souls in order to achieve a complete Kli with full fulfillment. So the method of correction, the method of how to draw the power of correction, it is called Torah. Is there, God forbid, nationalism involved here? Well, back in those times it was impossible to talk about nationalism because there it was all one people, a small civilization. Of course, only an insane person would think that. In fact, because to begin with, we're learning about the generality of humanity, of reality, of the souls, where there's no difference between them, but only in the spiritual souls, meaning roots, meaning what comes first, what comes next. And the vessels that are corrected at the end, they're the heaviest, the coarsest vessels, meaning that by this they draw the greatest lights. In fact, our sages have examined this question, and this is what they meant by their words. God gave it to every nation and tongue, and they did not receive it as known. But what they find bewildering is, why then were we called the chosen people? As it is written, the Lord thy God has chosen thee, since there was no other nation that wanted it. Moreover, there is a fundamental question in the matter. Can it be that the Creator came with His law in His hands to negotiate with those savage peoples? Such a thing has never been heard of and is completely unacceptable. Meaning that the truth is that to begin with, the problem is with these great kelim, the big kelim with the ovyut of Gimel and Daled, which are the heaviest kelim. And these are the kelim that you have to correct. And the kelim of Shoresh, Aleph, and Bet, you don't have to correct them. What do we learn? We learn that the Shoresh is the descending light. Bchina Aleph is the Kli that the Bchinat Shoresh has created for itself. This Kli has no independence, has no feeling that it is a Kli that wants something. It receives because this is how it was created from the Bchinat Shoresh. Bchina Bet wants to bestow because this is what it reveals in Bchina Aleph, that build it. Who built it? The attribute of bestowal. And only from the Bchina Bet starts a development, which is the Bchina Gimel, which wants to receive in order to bestow. Also because Bchina Aleph and Bet build it this way, and Bchina Dalet that wants to reveal the entire light, then it starts revealing it to its full extent. In full measure, then only Bchinat Daled is the completion of the vessel. So what do we have to correct? We have to correct Daled, and even not the Daled, but the Daled in the Daled. So why do we have to talk about the previous kelim? Because the previous kelim, they're the preparation for the Bchinat Dalet. You can't turn to it directly and correct it, but only by having these systems through which we can reach Bchinat Dalet. And therefore it says that the Creator, He came to the so-called nations of the world, the greatest, coarsest vessels, and wanted to give them the method of correction, but He has seen, and they've seen, that it is impossible. And therefore He has given this method to the Kelim that don't need them, that don't need it. The lighter Kelim, which were corrected to, they have to be corrected first, and when they will be corrected, this is called Israel. When they accept this method, this is why they're called this way, Israel, and these are, say, called the nations of the world. And then, when Israel will receive the method of correction, receive meaning that they will build themselves as much as possible as the realizers of the method, meaning that they already start realizing it. This is called the first and the second temples, and then they broke. Then they will enter through this partition between the vessels of bestowal and the vessels of reception into the nations of the world, bestow onto them, give to them through their desires. We're talking about souls here. For there to be an incorporation between the souls, then after this incorporation will they be able to, then after the incorporation both will be able to correct them. Therefore, this is why this correction is so gradual. And although it doesn't seem to us that there is such a great aviyut in the nations, such a great coarseness among the nations of the world, it's because everything's under concealment. It's the same way as now, something's concealed from me, and I peel it, layer after layer. I work with Aviyut Shorosh, then Aleph. All the rest of the layers are concealed from me, therefore I can't reveal them. But that's where the place of the greatest, the biggest desires is for spirituality. Item 6.
When we fully understand the essence of the Torah and mitzvot that were given to us and their desired purpose, to the extent our sages have instructed us, which is the purpose of the great creation that is set before our eyes, then we shall understand everything. Yes, please.
Вы в первой части сейчас говорите о том, что у окружающего мира, у других народов есть огромное желание, а у нас есть методика. И мы можем эту методику им передать. Не могли бы вы поподробнее сказать, что конкретно можно передать?
You said that also this lesson and the previous part of the lesson is that the nations of the world has a great desire and we have the method. Can you elaborate what is the method? The method itself? This is something very simple. It's how do we organize the human society, although it is entirely broken. So this is the human society, which is broken. This is on the one hand. And it has to, according to everything which is revealed to us now, it has to come and to be united once more. So this is what exists in the reality. But there is no method of how to come to that unity. Everybody understands that our ego is destroying us. Everybody understands that we don't know how to advance. We have no more methods. There isn't a single person in this world today that says, I know how to do it. I know how to advance. I have a political party, I have my own philosophy. We have nothing and nobody will believe such a person anyway, because throughout our history we already have a preparation, a result that from everything we've been through, that we have no opportunity of doing anything about human's nature. In all the researches, we see that everybody is egoistic, we think only about ourselves, and there has to be a great shock that someone will be afraid to use his will to receive. So only fear alone can stop us before we use it. But when I immediately use it. We cannot advance anymore in such a way, because the nature of our evolution, meaning that we develop according to a certain process which we don't understand, but we see that's life. Everybody is going through that. This is life. You can't do anything about it. This is life. Same thing with the life of humanity. We all advance, we all develop by a certain force, by a certain program, which we have to understand, to know, and after coming to know and understand it, we see that there's the development of an ego, which brings us to being individuals, to hate one another, to distance from one another, till we can suffer ourselves, our relatives, our couples. everybody, including everybody. So our ego grows. This is the reason to the fact that we come to a situation that in the world we all have to be connected by nature together. Nature is forcing us to do so, but we're opposite to it. And we have no opportunity to bring these two opposite forces together. Our ego, which pushes us away from one another, and the nature, which pressures us and brings us together to one another. So it's like we're in one room together in prison, people who hate one another. And this is an unbearable situation. So what do we do then? So the human society reveals that situation gradually. This is on the one hand. On the other hand, the wisdom of Kabbalah is being revealed, a method that to know how to balance all these forces together and bring us into completion and peace. How? The wisdom of Kabbalah says it is done by a stranger force, an upper force, which doesn't exist in your reality. It seems irrational to you. That's true. This is something out of this world. But listen what we're talking about, and gradually you will understand. What does it mean gradually? You will come to know that there is such a thing in our world, and we develop in order to come to know it. This is the upper force, nature's upper force, which is hidden, and we can use it. So in that case, there are those who are called humanity and those who are called the owners of the method, and they meet to come together and to see how to work together. And in that meeting depends the good future of the world. I have nothing more to explain. All the rest is go and study. This is what Hillel said. We read about it. That person who came to him and wanted to hear about the method of correction, he said, "Don't do others what is hated by you." How? How? Go and study.
Вы же сами говорите, что все человечество не будет заниматься Каббалой. То есть что-то им нужно такое передать, чтобы они могли принять и воспользоваться этим. А вы сейчас говорите, приходите и учитесь.
You yourself are saying that humanity won't be able to study all of humanity, but you say that we have to give them something nonetheless. So what can we give them? Very well. Also in our world, perhaps 99% of humanity doesn't know how and why it's living. We procreate kids like animals. This is basically a kind of process. And then we exist in human society. Do we know how to exist? No. I know that I'm going to work, do this, do that, and you will get paid for it. That money you should put into the bank. And you draw money from the bank in order to buy food. You eat the food. You and your family come again to work, get paid once again, put the money in the bank, buy food. So they teach me what to do, and I do. I understand nothing about this world. How do I exist? How my body exists? I understand nothing. 99%, only 1% of humanity, or 10%, even less. Somehow they discover a few innovations that will change our lives, but also not for better. This entire advancement is only meant to reveal evil, but suppose also in our lives. We act without any mind, You are forced to be born, you are forced to live, and you are forced to die. Don't think that you understand don't pretend that you understand anything about your life. It's the same thing here. By the same upper lives that runs our corporal lives, we continue our spiritual life by the same force. There is no other force. We shouldn't distinguish between the worlds. Only here we're talking about our correction, internal correction. We have no choice. In the situation which we're facing, which is revealed to us now in human society, we have to correct our nature. We were all egoistic to one another, and now we reach a situation where it's impossible to continue like this anymore. It's like in a family. We have to come from hatred to love. There is no choice. I don't want it also, but I have no other solution. This is the only thing left for me to do. It's either you remain in hatred and then you destroy everything, or you're moving from hatred to love and keep on living. Now, how do we do that? Also, that method of correction, only 1% of humanity needs to know about it. All the rest will keep it as they're told. Like now, you go to work, you do this, you do that, you eat, you drink, and everything. You do it. Why? Because this is how the world is arranged like. And it's not that you arrange things. You don't arrange your world either. You know nothing about it and how you live and how everything runs. There are thousands of systems around you, and you're seemingly in control, but you control nothing. Same thing here. Therefore, towards the simple people, the simple citizen, the only thing he needs to know is that there are wise people, sages, who know how we should organize the world in a new and better way. I should be part of it. I should be part of it to feel better and that my family will have a better life. Like now, I'm going to work. I need to be fine with everyone else so that I will feel good and my family will feel good. It's the same ego that directs him the right way towards the correction. He doesn't need to know anything more than that. This is what Baal HaSulam says. We simply need to know the sources. We've learned it many times before, where he explains it in the last generation, that only a very small part of humanity, only a small group, engages in what is called ideology. The head of the pyramid. All the rest will come along. And therefore we are the minority. We will remain the minority. How many people do we have? Perhaps we will have 2, 3, 5, 10 millions. Doesn't matter how much out of the entire population of the world. But we don't need any more than that. Who runs our body? In our brain we have a very small area which manages everything that's happening. The eyes here, they don't see anything. The ears here, they don't hear anything. Everything is there in a very small part of the brain compared to this 100 kilogram of a body of ours. The same thing. Same thing in the spiritual correction. Because one small thought governs the entire substance, the entire will to receive. If we're talking about this world, then you said that there are people in this world who use it without knowing how it's done, how things are done. You were saying about you were talking about a method, something that they have to do. So what are these practical things that they have to do? What are these actions? Let's say they have to sing songs. They will see and hear some TV programs which relate to the unity between us, but in such a way as they're used to in their level. Nobody is going to teach them. Nobody is going to make philosophers out of them for the new world. No, they will just understand a little better the world where they live in, this new world where they live in. They have to know, like in our world, but to their extent. I know there's a doctor, there's my boss in my work, there's a bank, I have an apartment, I have a play yard, my kid is going to school, kindergarten. I need to know these systems a little bit. So to that extent, I need to know how now in this new world to exist, how they will be connected to one another. This is what I have to know, like a beast, which knows this is my home, this is my landlord, this is a human being. We're not talking about anything other than that.
But of course, we need all these things. We have to provide him with it. And he'll want it himself because he sees how unsuccessful he is in his personal life, how unsuccessful he is in educating his kids, how hostile this world becomes for him and hard. He sees all these things, so he agrees to change things for the better, as long as he's not demanded to do anything more than, simple participation. He says, I'm ready to go along with you. Yes. But nonetheless, what is the essence of the method that you want to pass on? People simply have to agree to studying Kabbalah. So people simply have to agree and sing a song, or what? The method is that every man, corresponding to his own degree, needs to know that he is now going to change his nature from reception to bestowal. That's it. Now, through which actions? He'll see, according to his own degree. There are those that will have to learn and understand much. There will be those that will have to do more, like in our world. It says that the world keeps working like it did before, only that each one has to add his desire for the world to change towards bonding. And if this intention comes as a result of this intention being determined by the sages from above, then the upper force, which is that very same power of nature, comes down, but now it's corresponding to the desires of all of humanity, and it starts changing man's nature from reception to bestowal. As impossible as you think that it is, you have to understand one thing. That a person, he is 0.0. He is nothing. He is a will to receive. And if you sting him with a pin in his butt, he'll be prepared to do anything to get rid of it. That's it. He's all in all a will to enjoy. And by the slightest pinch, he is already prepared to do anything only for it to stop. And nature has plenty of possibilities, gradually corresponding to the entire system, to bring us to such sufferings that we'll want to do it. We will want to do it. It says in the prophets that it says in the prophecies that we will reach states where we will cook our own children, eat them as a result of hunger and as a result of being so cruel, and we won't even feel that we're doing something bad. Well, it's a few kilos of flesh, so what? I'm eating him, I enjoy him, so what? What about it? Meaning that humanity in its ego is reaching a state where it will seem to them as normal. By the way, we aren't that far from it. It could happen in a jiffy. Meaning that we will reach such conditions where the will to receive, for lack of any other choice, will oblige us to change, and then we'll accept these things, that they come from Israel, and they come from the Jews, from those hated ones, and from whatever. They'll accept it, respect it, and will want it. And will understand where does the source come from and why is it the way it is, and they will also understand why they hate them, because the ego hates that source. You don't hate the Jews because they're Jews. You don't know that, but you hate them because they have a root that belongs to spirituality, and spirituality is the opposite to your ego. That's the source for all the hatred. The external form, that this is what you think about them, that's not the issue at all. That's the reason. This is the reason that there can be no ego in humanity that is in proximity to bestowal, to spirituality. And therefore there's hatred, and therefore there's this demand that you're to blame for everything. That's obvious. Of course we're to blame. If Savior has to come for all of humanity from there and it doesn't, then of course. Even today, already now, today, in other words, you say that they do have the method and they're not bringing us this method and therefore they're responsible for all evil in the world, and this is why I hate them. And I have to do something in order to yank it out of them. You're already saying that. You're saying it for hundreds of years. Even now you hear these the voice all over the world that they're responsible for everything. They're to blame for everything and all the evil is due to them. And that's true. I tell them in response that, yeah, you're right. But just hear what you're saying, that we have a method, that we have the key for all good in the world. Okay, so now we've decided, that's it. We're opening it up. Take the key, use it. That's it? Yes? Excuse me for my persistence. No, that's fine. There's the entire world still ahead of me. I have patience. You're saying, take this method and use it. Okay, so give it. Again, you'll be blamed for knowing something and not saying it. The method is as follows. By the way, we're also gradually developing it. Gradually, meaning that to the extent to which humanity is approaching realization, we both get the brains and the tools, the vessels, to develop this method. What is the method? It is to bring humanity to bonding. How? By using different connections with the upper force that corrects us. What do we need? We need to use the upper force, the upper light. Where is it? If we'll compose songs, as I said, movies, books for kids, clips, different articles, the different forms of connections between people. When we'll start doing all this through the net, a special kind of connection, through the different conventions we have, through all the worlds that we give all over the world as we do now, and people connect to it, each one according to his own degree. This is how we reach a state that people start learning how to change. To learn, I'm not saying the steady test, but a song, a composition, something. They have to start knowing that they're living in a different world, that now a different leadership, rulership, different forces are coming down on our world, that the force that worked in our world till now developed our ego, and developed the ego from one generation to the next for thousands of years, developed our egos and finished developing our egos, and now it starts showing us how we're all closed within this ego with each other evermore. Now it's a different rulership, a global one. What we're seeing now is the global power working on us. We're not growing in ego now. This is why we don't want any more progress. We don't want any further advancement. I don't want nothing. I'm despaired of all the methods, science, technology. whatever. I don't care about it. Suddenly I start feeling that it doesn't give me anything, that it doesn't do good, that it doesn't fulfill me. Meaning that my ego no longer sees ahead where to go. That's it. This sphere came to its end. It grew, and now that's it. Now there's a different rulership, one that shows us to which extent you in this great big sphere with the ego that grew in it, how tied you all are. And now this power is pushing us together, bringing us together ever more in order for us to see how you can't escape it. This is a completely different rulership, and humanity doesn't get it. And from year to year, we'll have it worse. Look how they all go mad. All the countries, Obama put in this and that. Look what happened. Look what is happening. They have no idea about what to do with the world. Look what's happening with the different small terror groups, and you can't do anything. You can't eradicate it. It's in your home. It's so close. You can't escape. You're sitting in Moscow. You came to us from Moscow. You're sitting in Moscow and you're afraid that next to you there can be an explosion, that can something happen. It comes to your home. So we're starting to feel that we have no choice. That now the power that is working on us, the power unifying us, this is what we have to tell the world. And once again, I'm saying, only through the wisdom of Kabbalah can you bring the world to correction. Why? Because you must bring upon yourself this power to work on you, this form that you want to correct. The force corrects you to the extent to which you want it to correct you. You need to want it. What do you understand? How much do you understand of it? It's according to your development. Each one according to the pyramid. There are those that don't understand anything. They're ready to be a part of it somehow. There are those that are willing a bit more. And there are those who really have to know, to really stick themselves into this system. But a person, any person, will have to want to change, to be bonded with others in a good, nice bonding, either through the blows or by us bringing before the blows the understanding that you have no other choice. This is the difference. And as Bala Sulam writes, usually it comes as a combination. It's called not by path of Torah, not by the path of suffering, but derech eretz. It's something in between. A bit of blows from the one side and a bit of an explanation on the other side, but each one will have to know this to a certain extent that we, through such actions or this learning or in actions between ourselves or through the bonding or simply singing or watching some TV show, by this we achieve a connection with the system from which the power comes down upon us, corrects us, changes us. Both in practice, we perform such actions in the connection between us, and also by ascribing ourselves to the system. It's impossible that you will simply change out of the blue. Impossible. It's like the very same way you exist and belong to the different systems of this world. In our world, you will have to belong to the spiritual system till you start to reveal it. Even if you're the last, peasant, some farmer in Malaysia. Regardless. Nonetheless, you'll have to know about it. You'll have to reveal divinity even on your degree. The very same way you reveal now this world. You know this world. You know yourself, the air, people. You see all these bugs all around here. Great. You'll also, let's say to the very same extent, you'll have to reveal an additional level, an additional world. You understanding nothing in which you are, the very same way in spirituality. But you're saying nonetheless that there's a certain amount of knowledge that people have to acquire. The very same way it exists in our world. You'll also have to know something about the spiritual world in order to exist in it. Yes, but in this world, in order to acquire certain understandings, there are methods of studying and school and so on. With the help of which method do you want to introduce this knowledge to people, and what do they have to do in order to acquire this knowledge?
I'm sorry, but the person who's asking is not asking consistently. We're talking about people who want to hear. They will want to hear. How is he sitting here and listening to us? This is because he lives such a good life in Moscow, coming here to Israel, sitting here at 3 a.m. Everybody is here. They're here because they feel that good. People come here because they feel bad, not because they feel good. Of course, people will want to hear because they're going to feel bad, and so bad that Kabbalists tell us that you are facing a third world war, and after which only a few millions will remain in the world. Instead of 7 billion, let's say we'll have only 7 million left. What's the problem? What's the big deal? All these souls, they will enter 7 million people, not even 7 million, 70 people or 7, doesn't matter how much, and they will be corrected in such a way. There's no problem here. There's no problem about the bodies. I don't understand the scale we're talking about. You're so small. No, they won't want to listen. What do you mean they won't want to listen? Give me a person and I'll show you how he will want to. I will make him want to. You know what the KGB did. They couldn't change nature. This is something else. But you know what they did nonetheless. So this is one thing. Another thing. The method. The method of Kabbalah is more profound, more natural. Of course, it's more true than any other method that you have built throughout history. Now you can see how much you failed in them, and it's more ancient. So you take it from nature. From nature you study, not from your mind, which is under your hairs, and all these wisdoms you come up with, and then you're sorry that you did it anyway. You have to learn nature. You have to study nature. Listen. You relate to the wisdom of Kabbalah as if it's like the rest of your philosophies, and that's wrong. You will study nature. There's nothing else beside nature, and you will extract these laws without your ego that you want to twist everything. And that's what you're going to use. I'm not saying that there isn't a great work before us. There's a great work for babies, kids, women, men, different layers of the population, everyone to his own language, according to his mentality. We should approach anyone accordingly. There's a great work before us. So what? Humanity didn't engage in all those things throughout history? Yes, they did. So what? Where did they come to? So now they will engage in something else. Wait and see. Wait and see. You will see. Again, I'm saying because you will have no other choice. But for the time being, let's conclude our lesson. Few announcements before we end. In the Lag BaOmer Eve, 1st of May, we will come together for a night of Zohar in all the Kabbalah centers in Israel. Admission is free. Let's watch a short clip about the event. In the eve of Lag BaOmer, we ignite the fire of love. A festive gathering in all the centers of Kabbalah in Israel for a night of Zohar broadcasted live. We start with Shevet Achim. We continue with the Zohar lesson. And we conclude with unity and songs. Saturday night, the eve of Lag BaOmer, starting at 9:30 till we unite. The World Zohar Convention 2010 is on its way, this time in New York. 3 days of special Zohar lessons with Rav Leitman, Yeshivot Chavarim, culture events, and more. We invite all our students all over the world and Israel for an unforgettable experience with unity of friends from the whole world. 7th till 9th of May, registration at Kabbalahinfo. Guarantee your seats. On May 17th, we will all meet together in the port of Tel Aviv. Fascinating lecture of Rav Leitman with special parts of the book of Zohar for the holiday of Shavuot. Special meeting of friends from all over Israel, and with the participation of viewers and different groups from Israel, and music events and live shows. In the eve of Shavuot, we're all together as one man with one heart. We are building the spiritual environment. Details at 1-700-509-209. Thank you and have a lovely, lovely day.
הבחירה היא בידיך, ואין כאן את מי להאשים. אם הוא נסתר עוד מעיניך, אז בוא תבחר בחברים. כל הניסיונות להתגבר יצליחו רק עם החבר שיכוון אותך אל המקום הטוב. אז בוא נבחר בלאהוב. הבחירה היא בידיך, אפילו אם לא תמיד רואים. רק תבחר עכשיו את החבר הטוב, הרי בחרת בחיים. כל הניסיונות להתגבר יצליחו רק עם החבר שיכוון אותך אל המקום הטוב. אז בוא נבחר בלאהוב. לה 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 שיכוון אותך